Welcome to In the Room with Culture Meets Hollywood. I'm Elisa with Ali Leroy, and this is a show where we break down the business, strategy, what really happens in a room where careers are built. Tell them where to find us, Ali.
Oh, wow. This is the first time I'm doing this. I hope I get it right. We're on In the Room podcast on YouTube and Substack at In the Room _pod on Instagram, TikTok, In the Room pod on Apple and Spotify. That's where you can find us. We've been checking you guys out in the comments and in our emails. And, so listen, you got some questions, something you want us to talk about, what area of the business you're in, something you think we should be discussing. Hit us up at askintheRoompod@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, share, please. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So this week, Taylor Swift is fighting to protect her identity in the age of AI. Kenya Barris is exposing how corporate power shapes creativity. Nia Long is reigniting that pay disparity conversation, and the Academy is drawing a hard line on AI and artistry. Plus, Snoop Dogg's new biopic has us asking, what makes someone biopic worthy? In the table read, we're breaking down why Hollywood is going vertical. So let's get into it. Fresh off the timeline, these are the dailies. So let's start with Taylor Swift versus
Let's start with Taylor Swift.
So she filed a trademark, all these applications to protect her voice and likeness against AI misuse, those deep fakes, manipulated videos. You've seen all that, the fake endorsements and all that stuff that AI does. So it's not just protecting songs anymore. You got to protect yourself as a brand and as a person. And in the filings, what makes them different is they specifically are filed against sound marks, which trademarks her spoken voice, right? Not just her music. So her actual voice is going to become intellectual property if this is approved. So she could sue if there's an AI generated voice, someone that is created to sound like her. If there's she has a bunch of images that she filed to make sure that certain generated images that closely resemble her likeness aren't used. I think this is making celebs think beyond just your masters and your publishing to everything that could affect your brand. And the timeline is for it. You got at not DiCaprio 8 says this is a mastermind move. And you got at Ogla Sanchez says she is standing on business. So what do you think about this?
Listen, we already talked about this, right? In a manner of speaking, we were a few weeks ago, we were talking about, what's going to happen when AI is able to generate, realistic versions of these actors. So listen, Taylor is all about owning her brand, right? She's owning her footprint. She went back and bought her masters, right? Now she's buying herself, her voice, her likeness, the data, because that's the next layer, right? The idea of not just monetizing me, but monetizing things that look and sound like me. And so they're going to have to figure out how it works, but she's making a new, bold, and right first step. Say what you want about the girl, but she's definitely on her business. And one more thing, I think that this is like union trouble now, right? Because now, typical labor unions, they're going to take a hit because in this digital space, you're not really talking about representing a client anymore in a career building way. You're not talking about operating an employee under a usual set of circumstances, right? Talent is being asked to bring an audience, bring a fan base to, whatever it is that they're trying to do. So now reps, they're not, they're managing an asset, right? In the studio system, you're inventory. You're what they have. But in the digital domain, you're an asset. It's about what you can get. And she's right out in the front of that. So, smart moves. We'll see who else picks up on it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that other people will. I think this should be a precedent for actors, musicians, public figures. It's not just who owns my music. It's like who owns my face, who owns my likeness, who owns my voice. I'm wondering, if you're a public figure and your public image is available, can it actually be stolen if it's publicly available?
Well, yeah, I mean, no, there's already instances where, what the thing is that you can't take somebody's image and monetize it without their consent. But that is talking about existing imagery. This is saying we can create something out of whole cloth, and what can we do with that? So now it's not unlike protecting a melody inside a song, or protecting passages of writing inside of certain pieces of literature or in films. Like those things do become intellectual property.
Yeah.
That's IP, intellectual property. It's what I came up with. It's what I created. It's what I'm known for. and you're taking that, in any way, shape, or form and trying to monetize it.
Yeah.
Can't do that without me.
And they got very, very specific with these laws. Like some of the ones that they filed are just her saying hello. Just her saying her name.
Right.
Like they want to protect her from every angle. Pictures of her with a guitar. They don't want you having any, creating something that even reminds you of Taylor. Taylor's like,
well,
absolutely
listen, but she ain't going to get all of that. She absolutely will not get all of it, because there's going to be some space where we're going to have to be able to talk about, interpretations, comedy, to what extent do, to what extent is how you present in the market as a public facing figure, what aspect of that is available to make fun of or to, employ in some of the artistic pursuit. They'll have to figure that out. It's complicated, but she ain't getting all of it, but she's going to get some of it.
Yeah, it was funny because I'm in the comments and somebody was like, I think we are AI. They think our whole page is AI. I was like, I don't think we look perfect enough to be considered AI.
Well, it's in the fingers. AI can't do this yet. You want me to weird you out? Look, this is my weird finger. That's my weird finger. AI can't do that yet.
Okay. I don't want to know what you do. I got
a weird
finger.
My fingers are weird.
I want to know what you do with your weird fingers. All right, keep that to yourself.
I play the bass.
Okay.
That's what I do with my weird fingers.
Hopefully, that's all you play with. Okay, Erika Kirk. She did a podcast appearance, addressed a few things, including Drewski's white face, as they call it, and Candace Owens accusing her of being behind her husband's murder. And so she wanted to talk about this public scrutiny she's been under. But what stood out to people wasn't what she said, it's how she showed up. At Skittleman74, it says, why is she dressed like she's going to do a drive-by?
Looking like she was part of the Rhythm Nation.
Yes. I said, okay, she's dressed like the Unabomber. Some people are like, she's dressed like a sniper. It's in bad taste. I found it uncomfortable to watch. Like, she stared, like she's like in the camp. Like, I can't even do what she does. She stares through your soul. Like, I don't know what she's doing. It feels like she's doing like, I don't know, something odd. I don't know whose media trained her, but it was very uncomfortable. But I mean, then she also has some people that are on her side. Peter Pan Neverland says the way social media is so comfortable attacking people they don't know in real life is scary. And so, yeah, when social media turns you into a conversation.
He just found that out.
I mean, I don't know, but it does need to be said. Like, if you're a conversation, right, because we've seen it happening with all the celebs right now when they go through their breakups, when they go whatever, you're a conversation. You don't really get control over how long that conversation lasts. You don't get control over if people are on your side or not. You can't really control it. When people make you the story, like, do you ever even get your narrative back? And like, she wants to take her narrative back. From being the woman that potentially offed her husband to get all of the power, and I don't know if she's gonna get that back.
Listen, there's a couple of things. First thing one, this is me. Comedy rule number one: you make fun of what people do, not who they are. Right? Because anybody can change what they do. Right? But if you are inherently a thing, whether it's sexual bias or ethnicity or some sort of physicality, a big person can make fun of themselves for comedy. But when you do it, it is an attack. It can be, perceived as a lot of different things. So that you make fun of what people do, not who they are. Right? That's what keeps you out of court. Now, as far as she's concerned, her problem with Drewski is because of how he looks. Right? She thinks that he's a big, fat, ugly man, and she don't want a big, fat, ugly man portraying her and people recognizing that as her and laughing at it, right? When Sarah Palin sees Tina Fey doing her, that ain't a big deal. Tina Fey kind of looked like Sarah Palin. That's not a big deal. But when a big, light-skinned black man come home with an outfit on and clearly that's you, right? You don't like that. Erika Kirk gives a fuck about how things look, which is weird because she's always doing shit that looks crazy and then mad because somebody got something to say.
So if Nicole Kidman was playing her, she'd be fine. Like, it would be all good.
If Nicole Kidman was playing Erika Kirk with the sparkling and the fire and all that shit, she would be absolutely fine. Drewski does it, and she mad. And just for the record, is there such a thing as white face, or is that just face? 'Cause
I don't think there's like this is a term that's been going around, but like, you know, to me I don't think it's a black person in makeup. It's what I consider that.
It's a black person playing a white person. We're not doing white face. We just fucking with y'all. That's what we call it. And look, I mean, and that's part of the problem though. It's who's getting made fun of, right? These are thin-skinned people who are easily offended, right? They want to just be able to do whatever the fuck they gonna do, and ain't nobody supposed to say shit about it, right? That's not how it works. That's when comedy enters the chat.
Well, I think the issue is more so, well, you can do it to me, but I can't do it back to you. That's, I think, what she's really upset about. She wants, if she could have her way, she would be able to do what she considers racist back, and she feels like this was racist towards her, and like, I can't return the favor type of thing in this society. I think that's what the real issue is. It's not the fact
but that's always a problem, and we've said this before too. And and I don't like to always make things about race. However, when we show white people who they are, it really fucks with them because they don't recognize themselves as being that. When we do ridiculous shit and people make fun of black people as a culture, whatever, we might like it, we might dislike it, but we don't be like, that never happened. Right? We know what we do, and people will defend that shit 10 toes down, or they'll go, that ain't me, but they never go, that didn't happen, I don't know what you're talking about. That's what the fuck Erika Kirk is doing. Motherfucker, you got sparklers, you got a white suit on, everybody's dead, you running around, you in the Rhythm Nation, and you expect anybody supposed to say nothing. Yeah, my girl, you looking kind of ridiculous right now, and the only reason we know you, we know you because there was a tragedy in your life, and this does not look like
someone
what people
dealing
usually do
after a tragedy. Like, to me, this is textbook not what you do when your husband dies.
This is like if after the Malcolm X assassination, then we see Betty Shabazz looking like Cowboy Carter, running around with a hat on and some silver boots and shit, talking about.
She's running around like a rock star. Literally
necessary.
She's running around looking like Janet Jackson or trying her very best. So I mean, I don't know. Like, what the public discourse has done to her privately. I mean, are we even really that concerned for her?
No, she's doing it to herself. She's doing it to herself. Girl, go.
Because you could have got on that podcast and wore something normal and not stared us down, and it would have been another podcast that no one paid attention to. I do believe that she does things that she knows is going to get our attention, and it does. And then we talk about you, and then we laugh at you.
Well, because the other thing is that, she's one stunt away from us totally and absolutely not giving a fuck. So she gotta keep that train.
You would not be surprised if she'll be running for president one of these years. I'm telling you, we haven't seen the last of Miss Kirk. All right. With sparklers and all. Oh, please. I don't even want to think about it. Like, I know what's going to happen. I don't even think about it, though. Kenya Barris on Leaving Black-ish. So he opened up on the Breakfast Club about why he left Black-ish. And according to him, it came down to censorship and politics. Speaking of politics. So he wrote this episode centered around Colin Kaepernick and the whole kneeling thing. And it was approved by the network. It was clear. You know how that process goes. But then the Disney-Fox merger talk started to intensify. And then the higher-ups decided to pull the plug on the episode. So they were concerned about upsetting President Trump, whose administration had influence over the merger approval. And so it started off this creative decision for him, and it became this business, political decision. And so I'm like, okay, is this highlighting how mergers and this whole corporate consolidation really does affect the storytelling? It really trickles down all the way down to the creative process, because this keeps happening. We know this big mergers just took place. So like, do we expect to see a change in the creativity of what's coming out after this?
Well, I mean, it's not a trickle down. That's where it starts. The people who are spending the money are concerned about the product that they sell. And when there's a black guy running around saying shit about white people on a show called Blackish that is making some white people uncomfortable, they're like, hey, could we put a stop to that? It's the same shit that Jimmy Kimmel is doing with now, right? But they just started lower and quieter, right? So Kenya was an easy target. right? A guy on a sitcom, however he's moved through his business world, and he's a smart and savvy business guy, you're still in that construct. So, I mean, since that time, he's moved through a few different deals, and Kenya's had like a lot of little quiet successes. Blackish made it loud, but he knows what he's doing. He's well liked, he's well connected, he's ambitious, and now he's at Revolt, right? And so what he has done is he's kind of, maneuvered and found himself at an open lick. Diddy's gone. They don't have a creative direction. They have access to an audience. He has access to a creative pool. I think, him not getting what he needed from ABC and finding his way to this place. Shit, Revolt could be a baby Netflix right now. If they get some studio space, they're going to be the wrong people to fuck with.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of shows came after Blackish. So, there was Mixed-ish after that and Grownish. And I know some of them may have started while Blackish was still running and things like that.
Yeah, but those weren't they weren't ruffling feathers, right? They were doing young people conflict, interpersonal conflict.
Blackish
but when
was
Kenya did that
feathers?
episode... Well, yeah, Blackish did, because like even when they did the animated episode, oh man, the thing with the roots, and I don't remember the name of it, but when I saw they took a Schoolhouse Rock and turned it into an animated episode about slavery and that whole thing.
Yes, I do remember
and that shit was brilliant. It was fucking brilliant. And when that happens, he got their attention. And sometimes it's not always great to get their attention, because when they go, hey, what's that? And then it's like, it was a disturbance in the force, and they tried to shut it down.
You know what I think? They approved this. So they were fine with this episode. I think that once this merger started to become something that was actually going to take place, that shifts things. And so I think if the merger, did whatever went through, if I'm looking at it as Kenya, it's like this is going to continue to be an issue with my creativity. This is going to stop me from putting out certain things because they're going. No, because they're going to. Because if they're approving something and then they're all of a sudden they're taken away because they're worried about what Trump thinks, how am I as a showrunner going to accurately be able to create in that sort of bubble? It would make me feel like this was not a place for me to be anymore. It may not have been the situation the whole time, but once that merger went through, it's like it's no longer that safe space to create.
Well. You got to think about it like this. When you're talking about a merger, you're talking about an acquisition. So basically, what you're looking at is a house inspection, right? When you do a house inspection and you see a crack in the ceiling, the guy goes, that's going to be a problem. Kenya Barris was a crack in the ceiling, and the guys buying it said, that's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. Fix this now, shut it down, or else we're not going to buy this house, right? Or we'll buy it at a price that's far reduced from what you think it's worth. And like I said, I'm glad for him. He took the power move. You give up money sometimes to get influence. Beyonce did that at Coachella, right? She didn't take the bigger payday she could have gotten, so she had the rights to take it to Netflix because she knew that her core audience were never going to see that show if it was up to Coachella and whoever owns that to show it to them. Right? We got Homecoming on Netflix because she was smart enough to go, give me less money and let me own my shit, right? Ryan Coogler, when he made the deal that he made for Sinners, where he goes, in 25 years, I get my shit back, he could only do that because he had the two most successful films, right, back to back of anybody in recent memory, so he had some leverage. So you give up money to get power, and then you use your power to get your money. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, creativity is risky. Corporations don't like risk. So, sometimes when the company gets bigger, the art gets smaller. As you can see.
Right. Notoriously risk averse.
Yeah.
I will say this to everybody, though, but just like them, when you're making any deal, figure out what you can keep for yourself. And you're in the right fight if they don't want you to have it.
Speaking of not having stuff in deals, let's talk Nia Long versus Lionsgate. So she's reportedly fighting Lionsgate over a pay clause in her Michael contract. So her contract is stated that she would not be paid less than any of her supporting co-stars, but that agreement wasn't honored. The bigger complication is the original script that this contract was negotiated on gave her a much bigger role than Coleman Domingo. But in the final cut, her role was reduced significantly. She appears far less than Coleman's character. So when she was asked if she was returning for part 2, her response was simply, if the price is right. So the timeline is saying, add video to phone. She deserves a fair deal. Hopefully she gets the recognition she deserves, regardless of her role duration. And so I'm like, okay, Does your pay get determined by the script you sign on to or the final product? Usually the negotiations are based off the script you sign on to. So, but if the deal is I can't get paid less than any of my supporting co-stars, how you end up getting paid less, whether you ended up cut out the movie or not.
All right. So, whether or not people have questions around this, I just want to say for the record that I believe her. I believe that whatever she's saying is the problem is the problem. And I'm not saying there's not miscommunication. I'm not saying that there may not even be disinformation. But the fact of the matter is they tried it. They tried it. They always try it. Right? Guys like David Zaslav don't get paid the money they get paid for making the shareholders money. They get paid for keeping the money, for protecting the money. And so they'll make cuts, they'll pull stuff back from wherever they can as long as they can stop the bleeding, right? The shareholders are happy. So picking a fight with a favorite nation's actress on a deal that would otherwise have her just be casting, that's an easy target when you're looking for places to pull some money back. We love her. They don't give a fuck. Like, to them, it could be Nia, it could be one of the Reginas or whoever. And the reality is, yes, the deals are made before anybody walks out of the house. So whatever it is that they agreed to, it was on paper, everybody signed off on it, and then at some point, those people who have some leverage decide, we're going to do this and not that. And they just assume she's not going to really be able to fight this. We'll fuck with her. She's
I think they assumed she would not find out. Like, the thing is, clearly, whether her and Coleman had a conversation or her and another co-star had a conversation about what their pay was, is how she found out that she was paid less. She got her rate, he got his rate, right? Now, likely what happened is his agent negotiated a higher rate than her agent did. She was under the impression that no one is going to get a higher rate than her, and that's what they told her to get her to sign. Not telling her what someone else was getting paid. They didn't think that she was going to find out that, no, she didn't get as high a rate as her co-star. Right. And now it's this whole thing. It's like, why did I put this in my clause and you sign off on this? And I say, I'm not signing this without this being adhered to. And now I'm finding out that y'all, were doing some sort of shady stuff and it wasn't what I thought it would be. So I definitely understand why she would be hesitant to come back. I understand why, and this has been an issue when it comes to the pay disparity for some reason. Doesn't matter how high your character is. I don't think the editing of it matters. Whether if she was supposed to be first on the call sheet, and she likely was maybe first on the call sheet still, based off how the contracts were. But how it was cut, she doesn't appear as much of the large character as the
Listen, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's 100% irrelevant. Unless there is a clause saying I have to appear on screen for X amount of minutes or with whoever it is. I mean, you can create any kind of deal you want. Literally, you can create whatever deal on earth you want to create. But what that also means is that anybody else can too. And so there's interior competition on these sets and in these productions about who's getting paid what and why. How do we adjudicate that? Did Coleman get a deal and then it shifted? I don't know. And I'm not suggesting that anything untoward happened on Coleman Domingo's part of the equation and that there was not necessarily, mistakes made on Nia's behalf. The studios are playing chess with everybody, right? We got these two people looking at each other like she's name checking Coleman Domingo, but he ain't got nothing to do with it. Somebody made a deal. He took the best deal he could get.
And she's not name checking him at all.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm saying his name is in the conversation.
Yeah, because they're looking at who her co-star is. And it's likely that she has a great relationship with Coleman Domingo, and he might have told her herself, this is what I got paid. And this is how she knows in the first place, who to go back to Lionsgate about it. But yeah, this has been happening. We have the timeline saying, at Dr. Lewis Officiano says Monique warned us all. Y'all said she was problematic. So, I mean, we know Black actresses have been fighting this pay disparity battle. You have Viola talking about it. You had Taraji talking about it. Monique's been talking about it.
Well, the white girls are talking about it too, but they're just fighting for bigger checks because, like, when Scarlett Johansson was arguing about Black Widow, she was like, hey, this was supposed to come out as a big theater movie, and because of that, I was expecting to make XYZ. Y'all shortened that window and put it on streaming, and now you're saying that I'm not going to get that because of whatever it is. So this is not a fight that's new. It changes scale, right? And I always say this the same way. Same flight, different floor. what's her
Yes.
name? Scarlett's up top and Nia someplace in the middle, but they're having the same fight. Studios trying to fuck
Why are
people
only
who
women
they don't
having
think
this
can
fight?
them.
Why are studios only fucking with women?
Because guys will punch him in the face. I don't know. Because if Straight Outta Compton tells us anything, is that a guy might come to your office with a baseball bat and bash up all the awards and trophies and
Or
demand
that,
their money,
yeah.
and you don't want to.
Or they might kidnap you. Didn't Gucci's was that Gucci's artist kidnapped him or something for a little bit to get out of his contract?
I'm just saying.
Held him hostage in the studio. Yeah, I mean, maybe we got to start acting a little bit unhinged, ladies, because it's like it seems like it's always a woman that's getting the short end of the stick.
We might have to start hanging some executives outside windows, and asking them, do they want to shift that deal? I don't know.
It's
not all of them.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Just the ones trying to steal money, and I don't want you to drop them. I don't wish harm on the people
let's not be accessories
target
to any crimes on this show.
Our iconic black women actresses. However, I would not mind if those people were scared into acting right.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see a change in that, but it seems like that's.
I have one more thing to say. Here's the most important part to everybody. Read your deal. Read your deal.
The fine print.
Right? It's in there. It's not the fine print, the print, right? It's in there. I'm telling you it's in there because they can't do things without understanding or acknowledging how it's going to affect the deal. So if there's loose language or if they buried something inside a clause, and you ain't even got to read the shit, put it in ChatGPT and ask him, am I being fucked? And it will tell you. So read your deals, know what's in there, and use all the resources available to you because they have a conglomerate that is determined to give you as little as they can and take as much as they can. So you got to fight for yourself.
What's up with that? It's like, don't y'all got enough money? I know y'all got enough money.
No.
I know y'all got enough money.
There are more boats to buy.
It's more yachts.
They got more boats.
They got to pay for that jet fuels. It's a war now. That private jet fuel is really expensive.
I got a woman and she needs a new face.
I got multiple women.
How much faces cost?
Yeah, I guess. I just will never understand the audacity of the overly elite rich. But let's move on. The Academy has officially taken a stance on AI. We're talking a lot about AI and the Oscar. So good news. Only human performers and human written scripts are going to qualify for acting and writing nominations under these new rules. That means if it's AI generated performance, AI written script, it's ineligible for an Oscar. So Tilly's not going to win Best Actress. And the Academy is making it clear that the core storytelling, performance, and writing must remain human. I mean, AI it's not going to be banned across the board. You can still use it in VFX, editing, other technical categories. So it's not like it's a no AI, but, it can assist you, but it cannot author your scripts.
Yeah.
Right? So I love this. This is a line drawn around AI and creativity in Hollywood, and it reflects what we've been fighting for during these strikes is protection. We don't want to be replaced. Having the technology is fine if it's to elevate what's already being happening creatively through our minds, not necessarily to replace our minds with its own creativity. You get what I'm trying to say.
It's a mouthful, man. It's a mouthful.
Use the machine. The machine cannot be the artist. Because, I mean, how boring would that be if we had a whole bunch of AI nominees in the categories?
Like this. Listen, I'm going to say this, and I believe this to be true. They're drawing the line at AI. And on the surface, what I genuinely feel about it is that's just an old institution out of touch with a new generation of filmmakers who don't need their approval or need their acceptance, right? When Toy Story came out, it was a great film, groundbreaking, and it used technology that was not available to people who were doing animation, 20 years before that. And I'm sure those people were like, this isn't hand-drawn. They're using computers. They're going to mess it all up. It's going to be awful. What do you mean it's the biggest animated hit? What do you mean they got 5 of them? What do you mean? Right? Like, it's like the hits just keep on coming. A well-told story and a great piece of work are that on every way, in every way, in whatever criteria, a play, a book, a cartoon, a vertical. So in my world, it's still the artists who are creating the foundation for the way that these tools are being used and giving shit to an audience that wants to see it. If audience don't like it, audience don't fuck with it. Catch up or get left behind. It ain't about the AI. It's about who's using it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, do I think that a film that is an AI animated film could win Best Picture? Yes, but it's a matter of the actress that you've created to be the lead cannot win, which I think is absolutely correct. An AI written script should not be winning Best Writer.
Taylor's going to license her face to somebody doing AI, and they're going to make a cool-ass little romance about one of them songs that she writes. It's going to kick ass. They're going to have their own party. There aren't going to be any old people there, right? When MTV Films started up, they were doing shit that the traditional studios and traditional platforms didn't do and didn't care about, and it became a cultural force. Michael Jackson and what's my girl, Lisa Marie Presley, they're at MTV. Right? They're where the cool kids are. The academy is full of old motherfuckers. And I'm not saying that it can't get younger. I'm just saying it's old. It's a lot of old white men, and they're trying to get some new, fresh blood in. If it becomes
wait, what does the old have to do with it? So you saying they're making these rules because of them being afraid of AI, or like where are you getting at?
Well, systems run on established foundations, platforms, practices, and policies, right? They have a way that they do things. And these new people are coming in with new ways of doing things, new ways of communicating with each other, new ways to distribute it, and new criteria on which they judge it. And so, great. Keep your space to yourself. Be the 5-star restaurant of film if that's what you want to be. But everybody don't want to put on a jacket and tie to have a hamburger, right? There's some people that want to do different things and people that want to see different stuff, and they want to work in different ways. And that's going to be what shifts the industry. Rock and roll came in and
but
upended
you're
everything.
A bit on a tangent because you're all...
No, I'm right on it. I'm right on it.
I don't know where you at because with this...
Well, can I orient you?
Oh, okay.
Let me.
Lead me back.
It's really simple. I'm saying that they have an establishment and they want to remain the rule-making body. They want to be the gatekeepers of what is right, what is good, and what is to be respected, and what is to be elevated. And I'm saying that they're old, and what they care about is what younger people do not necessarily care about in the same way for the same reasons. And they will find their own art to elevate, and that's going to take some time. It might have AI, it might be digital, it's going to use new tools, it's going to be distributed in new ways, and the world will adjust. We listen to streaming now, not the radio.
I hear you, but for me, this is really about if I'm an actor acting in a film, I cannot lose I can't be nominated against an AI entity, which I think young, old, everybody was in agreement that that's a good thing. Like if I'm a writer and I wrote Best AI, I mean, I don't think it needs to be a category. I don't think we need a Best AI movie.
But they didn't think hip hop needed to be a category. They didn't think, they always think something doesn't need to be a category until enough people start doing it that it becomes a thing that's worth judging or adjudicating.
No, I just think that hip hop is a form of creativity that someone thought of in their mind and they created. And you trying to negate that and make it seem like it's not real music. Yes, I get. AI is a technology. It's technology. Okay? It's technology that someone is using to create a script. I'm talking about like if you are a writer and you have an idea and you're using AI to help you formulate your ideas, that's one thing. If you put an idea in an AI bot and it shoots out a script and now all of a sudden that script wins an Oscar, no, I do not think that computer should win an Oscar.
Well, but it's not, again, you're not talking about the computer winning an Oscar. You're talking about the person who was capable of designing a thing that when it reached its full capabilities was incredibly entertaining to people and they liked it. And so whether that's
you're talking about the person that created the AI, they should win a Nobel Prize. I don't think that they should win an Oscar.
Well, that's just you deciding that. And as I said, they're going to create a new thing to give themselves awards. Listen.
The best AI act, like the AI Oscars or something. They created AI Oscars then.
No, but I'm gonna go back again, and I may be a little loose on the details here, but this is the case. When filmmaking was in its earliest years, when it was in its infancy, and a group of filmmakers got together and decided to create the Motion Picture Academy of Arts and Sciences. They did that, and they gave awards to themselves to elevate themselves from Carnival Barker showing, nickel picture shows into award-winning filmmakers. They created this thing, and they gave awards to themselves and created this mystique around what the Academy is. So I'm saying that can happen with anything. It can happen with AI. It's just a matter of the audience decides. If you like something, and you give it to them in a way that they think this is cool and I want to do this some more, they don't make distinction between whatever we think is real, whatever we think is valuable, whatever we think is worthy. They make distinctions based on what they're enjoying and what they want to spend their nickel on or their $500, unlike D.L. Hughley, who gets popcorn for $8 someplace.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I'm watching the Oscars and Margot Robbie is up against Tilly Underwood, is that the AI actor's name? And Tilly takes that award, I'm gonna be a little annoyed by that. I would be pissed about that.
But they shouldn't be against each other. Like I say, they'll have categories.
Well, as of right now, they don't have to me. There are plenty of categories in which AI is going to win. It's going to win in the editing category. It's going to win in the VFX. It's going to win in the makeup and all these things that you're going to be using enhancements with AI for. They're saying it doesn't need to win in acting and writing. That's what they're specifically saying it doesn't need to win in. And I would say I agree. I don't think we need a best AI writing category in the Oscars. I don't think we need a best AI actor category in the Oscars. And I'm not old, and I'm saying that.
All right, look, but I'll concede this. I don't know what the categories will be, but I do know that there's going to be a form of excellence that comes out of people's ability to interface with this new technology. Somebody's going to come up with a way to use it and to present it in a way that's unique and genuine and organic to whatever that space is, and it's going to give us something fresh and new, and I think that thing will be recognized. But all we have right now to compare it against is what we're currently doing.
Yeah.
Right? We can't compare it against what's to come.
Yeah, and I think that like I said before, there could easily be a fully AI movie that wins Best Picture. They're not saying it could not be the best movie of that year, right? It could be all AI composed, all AI generated, and it can win Best Picture. But they're saying that they're not going to give the AI actors in it Best Actor. And I say I agree with that.
Right. Okay. I mean, they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out, whatever. So
until it's Taylor Swift starring in an AI movie, and then they're gonna come up with a new category. They'll give it to a white girl first.
We'll see. But I saw a big rise in Michael content everywhere since we saw the movie Michael. Yeah. He's everywhere. Stories, anecdotes. I'm actually loving it.
What they saying? What they saying out there?
What aren't they saying? I mean, they're going into family. I'm learning about Rebe. I'm learning about Latoya. I'm learning all this stuff. The daughter that the illegitimate daughter. I'm finding it's a deep dive. I'm like, I didn't realize there was all this stuff going on with the Jacksons.
Listen, they ought to just film social media and show that.
I mean, it's very interesting, the research that has been happening.
Yeah, listen, I mean, no, real talk. If they just did a timeline of Michael Jackson shatter on all the social media threads, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever, I don't know. Like, that would take 2 hours, and we literally sit in a chair for 2 hours scrolling. That could be a movie.
I literally do that.
That could be a movie.
You got the impersonator to put on a whole live movie version of the Michael.
Listen, the guys dancing and shit.
He was not Michael. It's funny. I see all the auditions. Actors have posted their auditions for Michael, and I do think that the right actor was chosen. But he's everywhere, and his reach is everywhere. So it did make me think. To use it for is it just me topic?
I'm just saying if someday in the future, someday far in the future, when they're doing the Beyonce biopic, if you're auditioning against Blue Ivy, you're not going to get the role.
Blue Ivy got the role, y'all. Don't even try it, okay? They're putting out there because they have to.
I'm just saying, and when it's time for the Kanye West biopic, if you are auditioning against North, you are not going to
Why
get
is
to.
North playing Kanye? North is not playing Kanye. No, he has
I know
songs.
because Kanye thinks outside the box. I'm being creative on his behalf,
Okay, well, that might be on
right?
on point. But
Yeah,
speaking
they
of,
did it in that. They did it in that Bob Dylan movie where Kate Blanchett played Bob Dylan. So come on, man, we can
okay,
mix
well,
it up.
yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Speaking of biopics, let's move on to Is It Just Me, where we take what everyone's been talking about and say what's not being said. Okay, so get the gin and juice ready, because Snoop Dogg is officially getting a biopic. It's announced at CinemaCon. Its production is set for summer with a 2027 theatrical release. Jonathan Davis will step into the role of young Snoop. Craig Brewer.
Craig
Brewer. He's known for Hustle and Flow. So he directed
Craig Brewer.
Yeah, he's directed. He's known for Hustle and Flow, and he's directing. And then the producer of 8 Mile is behind this too. So this is a good team for this.
Which producer of 8 Mile? Grazer and Imagine, or who?
Whoever produced 8 Mile is behind this.
Well, I'm thinking about Brian Grazer and Imagine. I don't know who else.
Potentially.
Maybe it's one of those guys you named. Listen, Snoop has been at this for a minute. Real talk. I've had the unique pleasure of developing a bunch of projects that didn't get greenlit.
Oh, tell us about that. What didn't work?
No. Like Snoop's actually got a really great story. He talks about being in high school and being in class with Cameron Diaz and and all these crazy characters.
Yeah, it's Brian Grazer
growing up.
Brian Grazer and Sarah Rainmaker. Is producing it.
Yeah, Imagine. Yeah, and I mean he's talked about like the relationship he had with his mom and how she worked and how she dealt with his schooling and uncles that introduced him to worlds that he was previously unaware of. So
okay, well, don't tell us the movie now. Let's go. Let's see it. You telling us the movie?
I'm just saying that's just stuff. That's just stuff he has.
He has in his back pocket.
So
it's going to follow him from Long Beach to hip hop icon. Yeah. But some have been arguing about this coming too soon, or it's not yet needed, right? And this has made me wonder what determines what makes a celebrity biopic worthy. Now, you just mentioned all these things going on in Snoop Dogg's life, which sounds like would make this a really cool biopic. But is it just me, or have we never defined what makes someone biopic worthy, and what makes a story complete enough to tell?
Well, I mean, listen, you got a couple of different sort of realities creatively, because there's one sort of film that's in the Purple Rain world. It's like Purple Rain, 8 Mile, 5 Heartbeats, Dreamgirls. Like they take kind of like an inspired by an actual person's life, and then they create something next to it, and people love that. Everybody Hates Chris is in a lot of ways like that. Like, it's Chris's life, but it's not. Right? We took a lot of invention, we had a lot of fun, but it's based loosely on the experience that he has. But the point is that it's the life. It's the life the person lived. It's not the fame. Because in true stories, you have to ask, okay, was this person like beloved, right? That's Michael, right? Was their life chaotic or dramatic? That's Tina Turner and Elton John. Was it groundbreaking? That's Straight Outta Compton. That's Bohemian Rhapsody, right? Or was it a journey? Right? That's Ray. That's the Bob Dylan movie that just came out. So it's not about the star. It's about the life. Is the life an interesting and visual and rich story that that we can tell? And does it scale? Are audiences all around going to like it?
So when we think about Snoop, we can tell his whole origin story to getting to a place of icon, which is a story in itself. You can tie in the story of how he is to where he is, how he went from hip hop icon to lovable Olympic Martha Stewart, right. So there's a lot of different stories in there, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about. And Snoop is still live and kicking, very famous, still going. The story is still being written. So it's like, okay, if the person is still evolving, is the story finished? I know how biopics work. You take points of their lives, but is it better if we see the full picture before we decide which point is the one we should focus on?
I think we have a full picture, right? Because the argument against that idea is Straight Outta Compton, right? Everybody's with us still except for Easy, right? But Dre and Cube both had, you know, their say in what that film meant. And unlike some of the other films, like, they're doing something different than Michael when they're protecting the legacy and the image. You know, there's an idea of Michael that the family had to protect. Well, Dre and Cube are still here, so they don't need nobody to protect anything that they need protected. They can do it. So they can choose to show whatever's raw. And actually, that film was very open and honest. And that part of their lives has been concluded.
There were some parts they left out. There was definitely some parts.
No, I'm not saying that they didn't leave things out. I'm just saying that the way in
over.
which we recognize them, how we recognize them as artists, and what we understand their career to be and to have accomplished is, for all intents and purposes, complete. It's a complete idea. Snoop is that. He might do some new shit, but he ain't gonna do some new shit that's more interesting than what he's done
before. Yeah, and I get that. And even though they have gone off and become famous for other things, that group, that story, you know, so it's like if Beyonce wanted to do a biopic about her time at Destiny's Child, her story is continuing on, but that group story could be, you know, in a bubble, if you will. I mean, I like when there's the conversation between biopics when people are alive and people are not alive. Like, I do like when they are involved. I do feel like it makes the biopic a better. Like, when I think of Ray being alive, being able to give his input, little tidbits, I just think that it's going to add into the portrayal of the character. And like you said, with NWA, you have Ice Cube and Dre heavily involved. You know, Elton John, Rocket Man, he was heavily involved. Aretha was involved during the early development of it. And then the King Richard one, you know, you had both the Williams sisters involved and everything like that. And I do think that it boosts the type of story. Not that it can't make a good story without them being involved, but I do think that there's just going to be something you're going to get from that you're not going to get otherwise. Yeah, I do think that I prefer the biopic when the person is living. Like, if you think of Ray's involvement with the Jamie Foxx portrayal, I thought that it was just having those tidbits from the artist. With the King Richard, you had the Williams sister involved, the NWA, as we mentioned, James Brown's get on. You know, they were involved in it, and I think that it does boost. I don't think that you need them to be alive necessarily to do a biopic, as we've seen it's been done, but I think that it just adds that little extra oomph to it when you actually
you know what I think it is? I think it's what they want for the story, because, like, different people are trying to accomplish different things. Like, Tina Turner wants what she thinks is the truth of her story, or a part of her story where people don't understand her struggle, right? She wants that to be known. You know, on the flip side, you know, maybe there's some allegations of some, you know, behavior that is not so, you know, great. And so we don't want to talk about that. But the greater decider at the end of the day is always the audience. The artist can create whatever story they want to create, right? The subject, if they're involved or if the family is involved, they can tell whatever story they want to tell. But the audience will decide what it is they want to see. And so the Biggie biopic was better than the Tupac one. You know, Straight Outta Compton was better than both of them. You know, A Complete Unknown was great. That was different than I'm Not Really Here, or whatever that one was called. I'm getting two movies mixed up, but I'm talking about the other biopic where there was 3 or 4 people playing Dylan. I'm thinking of a Joaquin Phoenix movie where he was a killer. So that's something else.
Well, who should have a biopic? Or who do we want to see a biopic from that doesn't have one yet? I already know I said Janet Jackson. You want a biopic from you?
Yeah. No, not me. I have 3. I have 3 people that I like.
Okay.
I'd love to see Donny Hathaway. I'd love to see Sly and the Family Stone.
Okay.
And I'd love to see Jesse Jackson. Right?
I feel like he
Jesse
will get one.
is. Yeah, and he's post civil rights, you know, black activist, and everybody before has been, you know, everybody else got shot in the 60s. So we don't have anybody from the 80s, the 70s, you know, moving forward who has really informed. You know, they just did the Shirley Chisholm thing with Regina, you know, and that was early 70s. So, I mean, this is just like a really rich period. And I love, it don't have to just be music.
I could see Jesse Jackson definitely getting one, or if that's not already in the works. I would love a Janet documentary, a biopic rather. I would love an Oprah one. I'm surprised there isn't one yet. One. Yeah, I feel like she would.
You know, she'll get it.
Yeah, I mean,
she could do it. She'll license her image. She could do an AI one. It'll be great.
Yeah, no, I like.
And then she'll, you know, and then in the various days, and then she don't have to gain, you know, and lose all that weight. The actress that's playing her don't have to go through all of those, you know, body transmutations.
Beyonce, a Beyonce one, which I think her daughter playing her would be iconic. But that wouldn't come anytime soon. That's decades too early. I think it's too early for her to have a biopic. To be honest, I think it's too early for most people.
She could play. She could do Girls Time. She could be in Girls Time.
No, it's too early.
In Blue Ivy, right about that.
She's still moving. I just think it's too early for her to.
But
do
you know what
biopic.
Girls Time is, right?
Yeah, that's the. Of course, I'm a Hive fan. Of course. Yes, I know what Girls Time was. That was
okay. You just let it blow past.
Original.
Listen, I just want to say for the record, I'm trying to curry favor with your audience. So when I say something, that you'd be like, "Oh my God, you know about Girls Time?" You were supposed to.
No, because it got to be authentic. Don't be trying to like throw random Beyonce topics out, trying to get it.
You're supposed to be helping me.
You know how you curry favor? Stop cutting me off. That's how you curry favor with the women. Listen to us. That's how you curry for our favor. Don't be trying to appease to us. Don't do it. Don't do it. But no, there's so many people I would love to see a biopic from, but there's so many people I feel like it's too early for them to have one. I could see Jesse
no
Jackson
such thing.
One. I do.
No such thing
I just think that it's still, your story's still being written. I don't want the biopic yet. I want a Prince biopic.
It's good. It's good when the story is good. That's when it's good.
I mean, I think it depends on who you're talking about. Because some people I just
damn, you almost agreed with me. Like I thought, like you was sitting there, like you took a second. You're like, it's
never. No, I just think it's too early. No. Agreed. Nah. Because some people it's too early.
Second, no, you was like,
it's too early for some people, and I don't care how good the story is.
No,
it's
no.
Like who? Like if there's people right now like that, it's just too. Or Blue Ivy. Let's use her as an example. I think it's too early for a Blue Ivy biopic. It's too early.
Not if you're one. If you're one and the first time you saw her was in clips on YouTube, you'd be like, that's my icon.
No, because she has other stuff that she's going to still do. And I'm like, let's just wait 10, 20 years for that story. Yes, I'm sure it'd be a good story, but it's like, it's not the full picture. I think we need a full picture.
Listen, I just want to say that when I say things are ridiculous and then you respond to them as if I was being serious, I think that's in an attempt to undermine my credibility.
No, because I don't know when you're joking.
I'm not going to let you get away with it.
I don't know when you're joking. But moving on.
I'm very sophisticated. I'm a very sophisticated comic mind. And so, yeah, sometimes people don't get it.
Yeah, it just, I think your jokes are for 45 and above. I think I'm like, I think I miss them. They miss me sometimes. But let's move on to the table read where we give the industry the notes it did not ask for. And the script title for this week is Hollywood is Going Vertical. So we had some questions about verticals on our Verticals Are the Future video, asking us to explain what a vertical is. It's basically phone first storytelling. It's TV made for your thumb, right? And verticals have taken over Hollywood, which does make me wonder, can great storytelling exist in 90 seconds? And a lot of people seem to think so. So there's a lot of new platforms that are popping up. Manso, which we talked about, that's David Oyelowo, Nate Parker's company. They announced a slate of 10 plus vertical microdramas that are rolling out between May and July. It's positioning itself as the first all-black microdrama studio, and it's aggressively expanding into this vertical space. And then you had Disney Plus and Netflix. They're both launching their vertical video feeds inside their mobile apps this month. These feeds are going to function like a TikTok style, allowing us to scroll clips, trailers, previews, and all that stuff so we can discover their content faster. And they are doing, I think Netflix already rolled theirs out at the end of April. And then you have Kevin Hart's LOL network. They're expanding also into vertical comedy. And he's looking to diversify the microdrama industry beyond just romance dramas and bring comedy into that format. And You also have Who Raised with Issa Rae, TikTok, microdrama, Screen Time, which I actually just watched today, which I loved. And then Tay Diggs is now launching his own microdrama platform called Micro House Film. So more creators and stars are entering this space. To me, it's showing that this is a legitimate distribution model. We've already been saying it. It's not niche. It's being adopted by major players. And casting directors are saying there's not enough actors to meet the demand because people are still looking at this as it's below me. Now, I watched Screen Time. Did you have a chance to catch Issa Rae's Screen Time?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to unpack here. So for starters, yes. What was it like? 28, 29 episodes. That's
yeah,
posted?
and the next
Yeah.
one's come out May 22nd.
Watched them all in 3 minutes.
And, and I was like, wait, where's the rest? Where's the rest? I was like,
all right. So, all right. I'm not the target audience, and I watched, I clicked through, and I'm like, oh shit, Issa done fucked them up, right? Like, this is because yes, you can have good storytelling in a form factor. That's kind of what we were just discussing. And she's doing it. She's got solid writing, she's got solid actors, and she's got people that understand how to shoot it. She understands the space. Mm-hmm. But again, Issa is an innovator because she came out of YouTube, created identity, created IP, and turned that into what ultimately became Insecure. And and she's been bouncing around trying all sorts of different things, and now she's at the front of something else. And it's notable that she's having a success and an impact that is fresh. I appreciate what Nate and David are doing in this space, but Issa Rae is the audience. Right? These are young women who are proliferating these profiles and these platforms, talking to each other, engaging, loving, liking, throwing all the shade, giving all the love. The guys are out there. I mean, the guys are online, but they don't drive the culture in that space the way women do. And so Issa's got a pipeline straight to that audience. They understand that she loves her, that she loves them rather, and I think they love her as well. So, and she's speaking their language, so she's knocking it out the park right now.
Well, I mean, I think that it's interesting that you say that you're not the audience. And I don't know if you feel like that's like an age thing or not. But I mean, I do think that male and female exist in this social media space. The people that I watch, yes, the creators are of both genders. I don't think it's like one necessarily more than the other. I didn't feel like this show skewed to female focused either. What I did love about the show, I found it to be addictive. So, her coming from this YouTube space, maybe there is an understanding of how to make this content clickable. From an editing standpoint, you have to figure out where those cliffhangers are going to be in,
it's
where
not editing, it's writing.
It's writing. Well, so that's what I was going to ask, because I'm like, okay, does that start in the writing room where we're deciding that this is where we stop, or it does appear like a lot of it was shot as a full piece, and then we're deciding that this is where it cuts off? Like, what is the process? And if you're directing this, how different is this going to be? Because it does seem like we have to have this set idea within a certain amount of time that moves us to this next clip, that moves us through this whole series. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, so you're dealing with a couple of things here, and the people who understand this are going to be the ones that are able to convert from content creator into the big leagues, which is still going to be television and film. They're still going to dominate the community experience. Lots of asses in front of a big screen is still going to be the best way to make a whole lot of money at once. But this part, the skill sets that are going to apply here are multicam comedy writers, soap opera writers, reality television writers will do exceptionally well in this space because their craft is built around creating interior conflict, not in sets, not in cars, not explosions, people saying shit to each other in confined spaces that get a reaction. So whether that's love, hate, oh my God, I can't believe he did that, oh that shit is hilarious, whatever it is, those people who have worked in those formats, reality, soap operas, daytime television, multi-camera sitcoms, their writing will flourish here because it's about pace, it's about beats, it's about structure. And so if you're writing a 60-page or a 30-page script, she's like 29 minutes into this thing, that literally just says on every page, you have to set up an idea, You have to explore a conflict. You have to come up with a forward-moving notion, and then you end it on a surprise. They do that on every page. Every page, right? And so if you understand that sort of writing, you still have to do it inside a larger construct. There's still an umbrella hanging over the top. Who is this person? Why are they doing this to us? That and Who the Fuck Did I Marry is the exact same thing. Who is this person? Why are they doing this to me? I wouldn't be surprised if she used that as inspiration. And there's another film that I just saw recently called It's What's Inside, which was kind of like this crazy sort of murder mystery happening inside a house. Just really, really smart writing, really, really funny. And I think that she's tapped into that. I think she recognizes it. I think she understands the audience and understands the skills that you need to operate in a lean, pace-driven, confined, audience-forward space. Directing, same thing. If you dealt with blocking, audiences on, I mean, if you dealt with actors on the stage, blocking, not a whole bunch of camera shots, right? How many people can I get in this scene this fast to say the shit that I need him to say and keep moving? You worked in verticals. How did it go?
Yeah, well, before we get into that, everything that I saw on this series to me is reminiscent of what I see on content on TikTok. It is very beginning, middle, and end, but a lot of times I think these content creators go into it, whether it's like, come with me to try this new restaurant. I'm letting you know that this is what you're going to get. I'm letting you know that this is what you're going to see. And then I'm leaving you off with, hey, if you want to hear more, come back for part 2. And so with that whole, why did I get married? It's the same thing. She's bringing you in with some big thing. Here's this big idea. You're tuning in to find out the little details. And then she's giving you just enough. And it's just like, you got to come back again. And that's how these series work. And that's how we keep clicking and liking so that we can follow through and follow it. And so I saw that with it. It's like, you're going to find out a secret. You're going to find it out at 6 o'clock. You got to do this to prevent it. And then you get all the way up to it. We find out one secret and then it's like, okay, something else has happened. We got to come back to find it out. And so I feel like this whole vertical space will work really well for a typical content creator who even is not coming from this whole space of TV, film, writing, because that is just the way that they form their content, period, without ever being talked to.
I mean, I don't think that that's entirely true because they've learned their rhythms from what they watch, right? And so even though they may be using this in a new context, where they have learned how to write, where they have learned how to structure beats, how to create a scene, you know, what a real hook is, what a real character is. Sometimes you're going to find people who are throwing shit up against the wall trying to see what sticks. Yeah. Some of them might be successful for a moment. But I'm telling you, there's a reason why a lot of people who have been in this short form space over the years, from Vines to Reels to all of this stuff, there's a reason that they don't scale to the higher platforms. It's because they don't have the craft. It's one thing to hold people's attention 1 minute at a time. It's another thing entirely to hold it for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for half an hour, not with breaks and I'm swiping and I get to just keep getting excited. Those are dopamine hits, right? I'm taking drugs. Give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. Right? These are slow sips. You know, when you actually get to the larger platforms, you got to be able to sit with it for a minute. And they got to develop those skills.
But with Who the Fuck Did I Marry, she was able to maintain our attention by using the same sort of method that we're seeing in Screen Time. But could she come up with a whole nother series that maintains our attention? Likely not. Whereas someone with the Issa Rae is going to be able to come up with yet another thing just using. So I think that when you're looking at TikTok, there are certain things that work every time. That whole bubble structure of how this is set up, when I see that happening, whether it's a cooking or a DIY or I'm getting dressed today or I'm going to this restaurant, that works. That the algorithm, I think, pushes that type of content. So you're going to see that also working in this vertical space. I'm very curious to see how the different stories will form. Like, I know with the thriller, there's always going to be sort of a build up and then a cliffhanger. That's how thrillers work throughout the long form. With the multicam comedy, there's always like a build up of a joke and then, you know, some sort of joke letting us out to the other clip. I can see that. I'm curious to see how that more slow drama type of thing would work in this space. I'm curious to see someone put that out just like.
Well, all right. So check this out though, and I'm not saying he's going to do this, but Nate Parker's last film, American Skin. Did you see that?
It,
So yeah, it was when it was he plays a guy that takes a cop hostage, and it's kind of like this pressure cooker. He's in there with a cop, and he wants the cop to confess to doing something wrong.
Okay.
But here's the point: that film could easily have been a vertical.
Okay.
Right? Because it's inside a room, it's a few characters, it's a pressure cooker, and you don't know what's going to happen from one moment to the next. Because the guy's got a cop, he's got a few other people hostages, and he wants this guy to do something that the guy doesn't want to do. And so he's going to try and get him to do it for the next hour and a half. And if he could successfully do that in a film, and that's what thrillers are. They're moment to moment. They're nail biters. So, Parker, absolutely. We know he knows how to push some buttons. And David Oyelowo has a great eye for story, and he's got a great experience in the industry. So I think that they're going to be a powerful force in a different lane. So I think we're going to see a lot of cool stuff.
No, yeah, I do. So, and that's why I said I'm excited, because I know the thrillers work. I know how the comedies will work. I'm interested to see some of these other genres exist in this space. So are these verticals replacing entry level television?
Yes.
I would say so.
Well, now listen, I mean, here's what you're going to have to understand, right? The audition now is what you did in your spare time. We said it before, and I'm going to just keep saying the same thing. You got to shoot something. You got to be in something. You got to write something. You got to direct something. You got to put it into the world, show that somebody is interested in you. And skill notwithstanding, I mean, you are going to need to be able to act, write, direct, and do whatever else you got to do. But being Blue Ivy is going to help you. If somebody knows who you are and understands that other people like what you do, that is 1 inch past the person who doesn't have that. So, yeah, that's just the world we're in.
Yeah,
now.
it's entry level, because it's still a form of acting that you can submit yourself into. So, some people are asking, how do we get into? I mean, you go to Actors Access, you submit. Self submission is still king when it comes to verticals, as opposed to like network television, where you are a new actor, you may need an agent to even see those particular auditions.
Well,
these auditions you actually can see and submit yourself to. And the pay scale, to me, I think is good. I've been seeing up to $1,000 a day for some of the leads on these verticals, and I'm not sure exactly how many days you may be on set. I think it
Right.
it depends on their production model. I don't think it'll be a long drawn out shoot, but that is a nice little $5,000 you get for a 5-day shoot from being a lead on a vertical. When you didn't have that $5,000 before. That's a good thing for someone that's entry
Think
level.
of it like this too. When I'm watching, I watch a lot of these content creators on the in the vertical space, TikTok, whatever, and it took me a minute to realize that a lot of these young actors, and I don't know where they are, but they're appearing in each other's things. Right? I'm looking at somebody and then I don't realize it's a skit until I see the girl that I saw in another piece. Right? It's like, oh, they're building an ecosystem here. So when you talk about the work, yes, the high profile work that we're accustomed to might be diminished, and in some cases might even be gone, but it's given birth to 1 billion people shooting a lot of shit all the time. So you're going to have to be active. You got to get out there, go into that world, and make those connections, because somebody's going to rise up out of this, just like somebody rose up out of Vines, just like somebody got popular on Reels, just like somebody got popular on, IG stories or whatever it is, right? A consistent presence and a consistent quality level about what you present is going to make a difference. And then from the investor side, what you see happening is something that's exciting also, which is, when you get a television show, you're asking that people come and watch this thing, and then the investors go, if you can get those people to come to watch it, then we'll give it this much money. When you're talking about the digital space, you're going, I already have a connection to these people. Sit your shit in the middle of it and let that be part of the conversation. And so it's just a different sort of reach, and it's a different sort of power.
Yeah.
And as we kind of start to, learn what this is, we really need to get our audience educated on what the business practices are, because the excitement of being on is going to undermine your ability to really get the most out of it if you don't know how these business practices are developing. And it's the Wild West right now. It ain't in stone, so you can still win.
Yeah, that sounds like an Ali's action pack. Was that the strategy that we need to survive this industry?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to segue, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Own something. Connect with your audience, right? You know, the audience is where you are. You don't have to go in search of them, so you can build on top of that. You know, you got to be culture forward with your brand, speak to these people. And when the big players see that you have a footprint there, they'll come after you. You ain't got to chase them. They're going to be, who's that over there making noise and money without us? And how can we exploit that and make even more and then try to take the rest of it from them?
There's that. So what are you watching this week?
What am I watching? All right. I did. I watched all of Man on Fire. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it yet. Please don't tell me because I'm going to watch it. Don't spoil it for me.
Well, I will tell you this. There were some conversations about whether it was good, whether it was bad. There seemed to be some confusion online about where it came from.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying it's based on the Denzel Washington movie. And it's like, well, actually, there was a Scott Glenn movie that came before the Denzel Washington movie. And then there was a book that came before that. And the television series is credited as being based on the book. And so it visits this character, John Creasy, earlier, I think, in the life before we meet him in the Denzel Washington movie, before he goes to Mexico. But I liked it. I liked it. I see why they like it. You know, they love it when a black man saves a white girl, so that's always fun, right? That's always fun. Black guys saving a little white girl, they always for that. And I want to get his name. Is it Yahya Abdul Mateen?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain. Well, I know it's not Reggae Jean Page. I know that, but I think it's Yahya Abdul Mateen. Strong, great presence. Great presence. I really liked him a lot. A lot of action. I thought it was good. I liked it. It's easy enough to compare to Aldous Hodge's show Cross, right? It kind of lives in that same world. I think their first seasons are on par with each other. I think Cross maybe softened up a little bit in the second season. You know, again, a lot of people think it's because white women get in the way. But I hope that Man on Fire goes to a second season because I'd love to see more John Creasy adventures. I enjoyed it.
I gotta go. Yeah, I'm gonna catch it. I was saving that one, but I will be watching that soon. I've been also on Netflix. I was watching Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen. It's an American horror television miniseries on Netflix.
So, wait a minute. That's a lot. Is that the whole title, or what part is the title?
Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen is the title.
That's from Stranger Things people, right?
The Duffer Brothers, yes. So it has its weird ways about it. It's like horror, but not the type of horror that I can handle because I'm not a big horror person.
What kind of horror can you handle?
Like, this was very bloody. I was going to say not too bloody, but this was a very bloody series. But I think the major jump scares, the stuff that's too demonic, that I feel like is going to stay with me. That type of stuff I can't handle. Wait a minute.
Just to be clear, are you the type of person that is afraid of horror movies where the person doing the thing is something that could actually happen or something that is unlikely to occur? Which one scares you more? Hannibal Lecter versus Pennywise.
I ain't seen neither.
I'm
actually very scared of clowns, though. Very terrified of clowns. So probably Pennywise. I don't know. I don't do clowns. I ain't done clowns since I was a baby. I don't do those.
So did you watch? So you should be doubly as scared. So the Gacy movie you will never see that because he's a real person and he's a clown.
No, I mean if it makes me uncomfortable, like I feel like I'm not going to be able to sleep, I will turn it off. So there's some things I never finish. You know what's
really difficult? I really hate having one black woman as an audience. It's
why is it only one black woman?
It's you. You're my audience right now, and I'm fucking throwing them out there, and you just.
What did you throw? What did I miss? What did you?
The whole John Gacy thing, because he's a real person and he's a clown, so you should be
I don't know who that
afraid of
is.
that.
Who is that?
You don't know who John Gacy is?
No, Eileen.
Oh, God. That's wonderful how young and innocent you are.
It's like you think I said 45 and up.
You know
45
Jeffrey,
and up.
You know who... They got a John Gacy on
Oh, that's the one that dressed... Is that the one that dressed like his mother or something like that?
No, that's Ed Gein.
Okay.
Ed Gein.
I didn't watch
he
that
was,
one.
He was,
and I didn't finish Dahmer either because it was just too.
You didn't finish Dahmer?
It was too much. It was too much.
So the real people really. So the real killers are the ones that bother you. And clowns.
I think it's because this one didn't bother me because it doesn't feel like something that would actually take place. Basically, she has a curse on her that if she marries the wrong person, she dies. And it's been this long line in her family history. They immediately hemorrhage out and bleed blood everywhere, right? So she has to make sure that this guy that she's engaged to is her soulmate. All this weird stuff takes place with the family.
Talk about date canceled. God
yeah, and if she doesn't marry him, if they don't get married by midnight, his family ends up being the ones that now the curse moves on to his family. So I mean, not to spoil it, but inevitably they don't get married, and a whole bunch of people die. There's blood everywhere. So I think that because that seems so unrealistic, I can watch it.
As one of them guys is mad at their wife. I don't know which one, but one of them guys.
I found it to be really interesting and cool. But I mean,
one of them guys, their wife is at home, just, what was that
looking like, are you sure? Yeah, because if you had to, if it was a matter of the person, if you chosen to spend your life with, if someone said, gun to your head, if this is not your soulmate, I'm going to kill you. Are you sure this is your soulmate? How sure are you that person is your person?
Oh, there you go. That should be the new metric.
Would you be
People
willing
make
to
better
die
decisions.
for it? Yeah,
because
so
guess what? Marriage can be very much a life or death situation. So you might want to, really ask a few more questions.
Yeah. In that case, that's what she should have did. But yeah, so that's what I was watching. I'm watching a bunch of different things, but that's the series I recently finished.
All right then.
But yes, that's it for this week. So you gotta like and subscribe, y'all. Click that button below at In the Room Podcast so you can join the conversation. Follow us on social media at In the Room _podcast on TikTok and Instagram. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Music at In the Room. And then if you have any questions or discussion topics, send it to askintheroompod@gmail.com. And as always, we'll see you in the room.